Welcome back. Today we are going to do the third and the final lecture of this bonus lecture series for Windows Form, and the learning outcome for today being create the event handlers of the remaining buttons. We have seen one of the buttons, click event handler, we have coded, and the other I think 3 buttons were there, so we'll have to finish the coding for them, code the event handlers, and first we have to create the event handlers, then code the event handlers, and then finally test the application with the test data. Like every lecture, I have created this lesson plan which you could read, which is basically what the learning outcome is, and that's it. We'll switch over to the Visual Studio. Welcome back. Now yesterday we have left the application at this point and we have built the application. Now let's start the application and see what happens. Yeah, it shows the form, and let's put some data. Okay, the first item, let me just abruptly put all the data in the text fields as just text, just plain text, just anything, any text data will do. It will contain numbers as well, and if I click the show array list, now what happened? Let's see. Please fill only numbers. So this is the data validation, a text field validation, you can say. So fill only numbers. So let's say 34. This was okay. Please fill true or false. So let's say false. Please fill only decimal numbers, 44, 45.6, anything. And this was supposed to be taking any string. So show array list. Now this will show. Now please, I want to prove one thing. Okay, let's see this application, whether it will stop at one point or not. So what will you expect? You will expect it to stop after showing these 5 results, right? The second collection item is this. Every time you click, you'll get the message box with the fresh value. Okay, so the 4th value and the 5th value. Now if you click this one, let's see what happens. So it will bring this, it will bring all the values again. All right, so again and again and again and again and again. So it doesn't stop. So there is a bug in the program. So let's break the application because it tends to go into the infinite loop. It will never stop unless you run the stop debugging. All right. So yesterday I have intentionally made I have not written this line of code. Complete is reassigned. This complete is, what is this complete? This is a boolean. So it started with a false. So while not complete, while this course of action is not complete, do all these things. All right, and then at the end, after showing the message box, the boolean should assume a value true, because if it is not true, then it will keep on repeating the while loop again and again and again infinitely. So that was the bug. That's what I wanted to show you. Now next we will actually go to the form design view and click on let's say add range. How did you get the event handler? So one of the method was to double click. So button add range. So what do I need to write over here? So I will bring the array list object that we created last time in the last lecture, dot, as the name suggests, add range. So let's try the add range. So ArrayList dot add range. Now within this, if you recall the earlier lectures on ArrayList console application, it's very similar. It's just another way of expressing our thoughts through Windows application. So new object, and within a pair of curly braces, I can write some names. Let's write some string, say Rob say bill say Anil. All right, the choice is yours. What do you want to write? So I have added, this will be object, right? And then what I want to do is to show in a for each loop, iterate through the list, iterate through the items in the list and show the message box for each of the item. So again, going for a for each loop, tab it out, it will create the stuff for you. So for each var item, and in this collection, if you recall, it will be that ArrayList object. Okay, and then in a message box dot show. So now here, just to save time, I have copied from a notepad that I've been working, and then just paste the code, end it with a quotes closed and then semicolon. Right, let's see if the project builds. I don't want to run it as such. Okay, the build succeeds. Now let's finish the other two. Try insert. So again, I will show you, just for recalling, how do I put the method, just by double clicking, or here these are the events. So by default it is the click event anyway, and if you click enter, if you enter after putting the mouse over there, so insert click is made. And in this insert click, I will code. Again, I will use the ArrayList object that I created over here. Let's recall, this is at the top level, so it has got the scope, the entire class. So entire class is under its scope, so the visibility is at the top. That was the intention. So ArrayList.count. Now here, why I'm going for ArrayList.count greater than 0? That's because unless the ArrayList object is formed, I cannot insert anything, or I cannot remove at any index, which I am going to do next. So it must do this check. If the count is greater than 0, then do these things. ArrayList dot insert, okay, an index and a value. So I wish to use the second item. So at second items, or index 1 is a 0 based index. Let me insert something like, some name like Rohit, for example. ArrayList.insert at the first index, or the second position, Rohit. And then because it's the second row, txt second dot text property will be ArrayList, that is the first object. So how will you get the first object? Access it with an indexer, int index, that is 1 dot to string. Simple as, just to make it, force it to a string. Okay, and then you can write a message box, which I have copied in my clipboard, and I will just paste it. Now that message box is the item inserted at second row. Remember, this is the second row that it is inserted, is txt second dot text. Again, we are using the string interpolation method. Right. So finally, let's build the application. So my advice will be to all of you to do incremental coding steps and build the application, just to see, just to be able to handle it more efficiently. If there is an error, you could always get back to the changed code, and you will be restricted to a small area, which will be easier for you to debug. So although this course is not intended to be a course on debugging, but you can always put a debugger, this breakpoint over here, and then you can start the application like just quickly. All right, and if I click on try insert, at the moment nothing is happening because the ArrayList.count is 0. So if this ArrayList is filled with these text items, then it will work. So at the moment nothing will happen. It will not come to that breakpoint. It will not hit that breakpoint. And then, okay. So the last was try remove at. So let's code for this event handler. Click event handler, try remove at. Okay, so again I will copy this part. If ArrayList.count greater than 0, sorry, it's just copy. So ArrayList.count equals 0 again. Then, okay, let's see, he's complaining something is missing. So end curly brace is missing over here. That's why this squiggly line. Okay, it's telling you. Okay, so now it's all right. So if ArrayList.count it is more than 0, that means it is a finite count, that is at least one item, then ArrayList.remove at, say, index 2. All right, so that means at the third position I want to remove, at the third index. So here it will be txt third dot text equals, similar to the above, similar to what we wrote here, ArrayList.insert ArrayList with an indexer 1. So here it will be ArrayList indexer 2, because it is a third position of a 0-based index, ArrayList 2 dot toString. Okay, so now again the message box dot show, which I have copied from my clipboard again to save time, and I'll just paste it over here. And then finally again the for each loop, for each, tab it out, var item in ArrayList. Okay, and again message box dot show, which again I will copy from my clipboard and paste it over here, which says that items after removing from third row is within curly braces, pair of curly braces item. This is this item, and it's a caption or title, collection items. So that's all. And let's test this. Let's run this application and test this. Right, now this time I know that the first item is a integer, so I will go straight away, and the second item accepts a string, say hello. Third item was a true or false boolean, let's say true this time, and the fourth item was a decimal, so 45.770998 whatever, and the fifth item was again a text, right? And this time let's see what happens. First item is 24, hello, true, world, and it stops. It's brilliant. Now let me tell you, coming back to the first lecture where I said that I will eventually tell you why I am putting this if condition, if ArrayList dot count less than equals 5. What happens is that now my application is still in session. All right, now if I click on this add range, so items after adding the range is 24. It will still start in that order that it has shown you on clicking of this button, show array list. So let's see the fun. Yeah, Rob, Bill and Anil. All right, so this is also showing the added object. Now supposing if I get rid of this condition, if I don't put this condition, then what will happen is that every time I click this button, I've clicked it the first time, right? So it has added 5 items, and then I click the add range button, it has put these 3 items, so 8 items. Now if this condition is not there, then what happened that there is been nothing to check the calling of this add method. So this will keep on adding the first, second, third, fourth and fifth item from the text box, from text fields. So it will keep on growing, right? In order to put a check, I have put this condition. Okay, and let me check these 2 buttons lastly. So because this is all in-memory storage of data, nothing is stored in the database, so everything is lost if you close the application. So I have to build it again. So let's see first item again as say first item was, can you guess it what it was? It was a integer, say 456, and second item is suppose my name. That was a string it was accepting. Third item was a boolean, this time again true. Fourth item was a decimal. Let's see, let's not write any decimal. And fifth item was a string. So in this string I can write anything, true, false, anything. So let's see what happens. Fourth item was 159. Okay, so that means this is also taken as decimal, 159. That's fine. 159.0. Kaushik, true. 159, true. All right, now try insert. Okay, so the item inserted at second row is Rohit, so it is also automatically writing that to the second box. Okay, now if I click on this list again, this will show me 456, Rohit. Now it is shifted once. Kaushik, true. 159, true. That's it. So one more item. Now let's try this one. The item removed from the third row is true. Okay, so item after removing from the third row is 456. Item after removing from third row is Rohit, true. 159. Okay, so let's see what we have written for the try remove act code. Okay, so I have wanted to see the message box, after removing the third item, right? So every time it is writing me this, so you probably don't need that block. You can get rid of that block and rebuild the solution. And that's it for today. So in recap, what we have learned today is, quickly, this was the learning outcome. From a quick recap, we observed that we have learned to add the click event handlers for the remaining button controls, add range, try insert, try remove at, learn to code all the click events with the code to demonstrate the relevant add range, insert and remove at methods, and learn to test the application with some data. That's it.